you cannot please everybody. You cannot make everybody happy. You're not here to do that. I could understand wanting to do what you might inwardly feel is the right thing by way of considering what other people are thinking or the perspective of others that you feel might be guiding you in the right direction. So consider yourself, consider how you might be going about this. If you're unaware that you're trying to please people or you're trying to cater to the perspective of others, especially a multitude of people, way too many people, you're going to end up depleting your own energy. And when you do this with a lack of that particular awareness, this very well could become a cycle. You're not going to succeed in that endeavor because everybody is having these perspectives, and on top of that, all of our own individual perspectives are fluid. They are changing. They are shifting according to needs, according to life experiences, according to so many different things. This is a fluid experience. This is an experience that is always changing. And it's also always repeating itself if you don't know how to break out of these cycles. Identifying those things, identifying the beliefs that you might have that are keeping you in this loop. So, what is the right thing to do? What is the actual correct course of action in your life right now? I don't know exactly what that might be. And it is my faithful prayer, and I'll get into what I mean by that, but it is my faithful prayer that anybody that does not belong on this channel is not sitting here and feeling animosity or distaste towards it, or is seeking to misinterpret it for the sake of personal gain, because it's just never going to happen. I'm speaking from a perspective, from a position of truly honoring what is wellness to me, what I feel inwardly is a representation of a healthy being. And I don't compromise on those foundational principles. So there may be discord. If you're listening to what I'm saying consistently and you're not applying the information as to actually improve your state of being and the way that you're thinking on these fundamental levels, there very well may be issues that arise, which is fine. I think that's great because this can redirect you into a proper course of action, potentially the description links or potentially the links that I have been providing you as of recently, which are more often than not very simple, very easy practices, things that you can apply: breath work, stretching, yoga, creativity. But certain things can only get you so far. You don't want to run yourself ragged trying to do what is simply not possible. And that is to fulfill the desires of everybody, which are not even your desires. It's good to be considerate. Being considerate is ideal, and it fosters a admirable character. That is a characteristic that I appreciate in others. But when it is to your detriment, it is very unattractive. Some people don't even deserve a millisecond of your gaze. And I've come to realize that over time. People don't deserve to receive your energy unnecessarily. You have to be able to discern when you're overextending yourself, or when you're expecting others to give you something that they don't owe you. You don't owe anybody, and nobody owes you anything. What does that mean? Just because you smile at somebody and say, "Good day, sir," doesn't mean that that person needs to reciprocate that energy, especially if they don't know you, especially if they're in a different frequency, or if they're operating from a different vibration and they don't appreciate the energy that you're giving as much as it seems nice or courteous in your perspective. The main thing that I would question for myself is, am I proud? Am I appreciative of my current position? Overall, in all facets of life, does my current position align with what I am truly seeing for myself, devoid of what other people want for me, think that is appropriate for me? Am I able to actually perceive what that is, devoid of the consistent use or consistent consumption of a substance that is actually preventing me from having the full experience of my current position as it is? If you're constantly taking depressants, like alcohol, and you're attempting to discern from yourself from a position of being numb or feeling like high off of that numb feeling, you're not going to be able to make an accurate assumption. If you're constantly on a psychedelic, you're not operating from a base level. Now, it is not your job to please me in adhering to what I think in that respect. But this is the foundation in which I'm working from. So a lot of the things that I share, because they're rooted in that awareness and in that practice and in that lived experience, this may create some form of confusion, some loss within the translation. That is why it is wise to assess your current position and to understand that I'm not here to make you feel good. I'm not here to please you. I'm here to be myself, to be authentic in my expression, and to do my best to translate to you information that might assist you in making necessary changes that would otherwise be very difficult to make. Why is that? Because of unawareness. I went through things, I had life experiences that are allowing me to share with you insights of my experience so that you don't have to go in all of these directions unknowingly. And again, there's nothing wrong with going through those things if you must. But you can avoid the avoidable by hearing what I have to say, and more importantly, actually taking the actions through thinking differently, through understanding my perspective. So the actions that you're taking are not coming forth from force, right? I don't want to force you to stop pleasing people who are never going to be satisfied unless they are satisfied in of themselves. You changing your behavior to please them is not going to please them. People must please themselves. They must be inwardly satisfied with themselves in order to experience satisfaction externally. So if you yourself are seeking to change external circumstances, the behaviors of beings around you as to be satisfied within yourself, you're going to keep running into that wall until you realize that. It's just not happening. That's not how that works. So when you're met with a belief that something outside of you is causing you disharmony or causing you to feel some type of way, you can make a shift in the moment. You can look at that and automatically perceive, understand what the opposite of that might be. So let's say the thought is, my boss is so mean to me. My boss does not like me and is constantly giving me a hard time. That's the belief. That's the thought that comes up. That's a thought that is solidified within your neural network. That is a thought that is taking your energy that could be used otherwise. You're utilizing your energy. And when you feed into that thought form, instead of utilizing that energy to feed into like healthy things that actually energize you and keep you in high spirits, you're feeding into something that is actually making you go down. So now when you're at work, you're real tired. You're 10, 20, 30 times more tired than you would have been otherwise. So what can you do in that moment? Think the opposite thought. As much as that might not be like your true belief, doing this will prevent you from feeding into that energy, and it will likely send you in a more positive trajectory. Very likely. So you can think the thought, and this will improve over time. This skill will improve over time the more you apply it. My boss treats me with respect. I am actually deeply appreciative. I do great work, and as a result, I am appreciated. Nobody does it like me. The way that I do my work is exceptional, and therefore, my boss is starting to notice that more and more and more. My absence makes a difference. My absence is felt. Therefore, my presence is appreciated. You see, and that alteration, that shift, that conscious shift to think that, notice the difference between that thought form and the thought form that, I'm my boss's favorite person on the whole planet. That's like a little bit reaching, especially if you're super emotionally charged about the situation. So what I would recommend is just being mindful of that. Being mindful of not over exaggerating to your own detriment. If you could take it there, but you don't have to do that. You can make it, you can tailor it so that it's actually serving you more so. That's not to, suggest that taking it all the way is not beneficial to you or might not work for you. But something that helps me is just being mindful of my current position, assessing myself accurately so that I can differentiate between what is going to be helpful or what is going to be to my detriment. Listen to your inward calling and realize that not everybody deserves your attention. Actually, there's very little things that actually deserve your attention. Your ability to focus your energy and direct where you put your attention is your power. You can't be mad at the world for the way it treats you, the way the world treats you, when you yourself are not taking responsibility. That might be hard to hear. And one of the main things that I'm wanting to communicate today is that I am very much operating from this foundation that assessing myself from a base level, devoid of substances and all these different things that are outside of me, as to be able to operate within this reality, is the way that I'm choosing to navigate. So the insight that I'm providing you is coming from this experience. It's integral, so it's relevant. That doesn't mean that what I share with you is not going to be beneficial to you if you're not operating from that framework, but I think it's good to know. So, I'm not here to make you feel good. I'm not here to feel validated by you because you're watching. I'm here to provide the value by way of authentically expressing the wisdom that has stemmed forth from my life experience and the love that I have within my heart. Start to notice start to take notice of when you're behaving in a way that is not necessarily the way that you feel, as to show up some type of way for people. When you can observe neutrally with a centered heart, a centered energy, you're gonna be able to see what's actually going on. And likely you'll be able to steer clear from things that do not resonate. Don't pretend that things resonate with you on that authentic level when it doesn't. So, thank you for watching. I appreciate you guys.
So I got white sweet potato. I love white sweet potato. Dandelion greens. That's been a shift, which is so amazing for clearing out the gut. Got white onion, yellow bell pepper, and some falafel. And all minimal ingredients. Oh, and the sauce is lemon juice, rosemary, tahini. What else is in there? Salt and tomato. It's like the pulp, tomato pulp. Just squeezed it in there. And so yeah, a little goes a long way. Super flavorful, very satisfying, minimal, and everything you need to feel energized. And really, you don't need food to feel energized, but it's a great way to transition into eating more plants as opposed to the addictive processed foods that stifle our flow of energy, often without our own awareness. So that might look like improper lymphatic drainage or glymphatic drainage, as well as organ functioning.